Why do you want to talk to strangers? So clearly, you know that there's something valuable about it, right? Something intriguing about what that stranger has to offer. Maybe you could learn something from them. Maybe you could get their number. Maybe you could be their friend, right? Maybe you're just seeking some external validation, which is probably not the best reason to be talking to a stranger. But I would say the reason why you talk to strangers probably drives how you would approach it. I remember talking to a stranger when I was like 13 years old. It was this older guy down the road. He was practicing golf, and I ended up going there and I think I went and grabbed a golf club I had a golf set when I was 13, don't ask me why, and went to play some golf with this older man just down the road, and I actually did that for like 5 minutes. Then I came back, and why I told my mom about it, I don't know, but I told her and she was freaked out. Because, I was always given the advice not to, just be careful when interacting with strangers. And I think there's some logic to that. I think you do need to be careful, but I think that for the most part, there's a lot of untapped value when it comes to interacting with strangers. Most of your success is going to rely on being able to influence people you don't completely know. To be honest, like, you don't fully know anyone really. So influencing a stranger is something that's gonna be common throughout your entire life, right? Especially in some position of leadership. How do you talk to strangers effectively? I think it really comes down to your ability to see a person as a person. So they're not just an object of your interaction, and they're not just some pawn in your game. You're not just trying to gain something out of it. It's not one-sided. It's very much a dynamic two-way interaction, right? And that might sound very esoteric, but in a practical sense, like actionable advice is, when you see a stranger, pay attention to what it is they're doing, what they're wearing, where they are, what the circumstances. Circumstantial reaction is really the key piece of advice here. So the answer to the question, how do you talk to a stranger? You react to something circumstantially. Now, if I just said that initially, it probably wouldn't have made sense, but I could elaborate on that. By an example, for example, today, I met a couple of strangers. So two guys standing outside an elevator. I came up to the elevator, and I can tell immediately, these guys, super confident, and they actually initiated the conversation. They saw me looking in their direction because I'm walking up to the elevator, and as you would find with anyone who's super confident, they would likely initiate the conversation. And I had already seen something circumstantial that I knew would be a topic of conversation, and that was the t-shirt that the guy was wearing. It had the name Milwaukee on it. I am familiar with Milwaukee. It's a hardware brand, tools, that sort of thing. And it caught my eye because I'd never seen somebody just casually wearing a Milwaukee t-shirt before. And so my immediate response to him initiating the conversation, he said something like, "What's up, dude?" or something like that. And I said, "Where'd you get that t-shirt?" And that immediately became a entertaining conversation, right? It was a chance for him to say something hilarious, a chance for his friend to chime in and say something funny. We were all laughing. Got into the elevator. I saw that they had some beers in their hand. That became a topic of conversation. And then the gym became a topic of conversation because I was going to the gym. It was circumstantial. And that's just a good example of circumstance, right? There are many other elements to that. A couple of them, which come to mind right now, is letting go of the fear of judgment. So I didn't fear what they would judge when I mentioned something about the t-shirt or about the beer or about the gym. And another big element is letting go of the fear of judgment by other people. So in that minute or two that I interacted with these two guys, everybody around me just disappeared. Like, I did not care what the people around us thought about our conversation. So there's a lot to unpack there. And, I'm happy to elaborate in further episodes and respond to questions about that type of interaction. There's definitely this internal struggle between caring about what people think and not caring about what people think, and how you have to balance those two against each other in order to actually achieve your social aims. And I think that's enough for today about how to talk to strangers. Actually, I'll leave you with one thing. Towards the end of that interaction, I did become a bit self-conscious, and I heard it in my voice and I felt it. But we still ended up having ultimately a strong finish in that conversation, in that interaction, and everyone left that interaction feeling positive and cheerful. But I did feel that sense of self-awareness and a bit of self-consciousness, and I think that's what makes me, I'd say, part of the group of people who had to learn this. It's not something that came 100% naturally, and that's why I feel like I can talk about it. I can talk about how to go from not being able to talk to strangers at all to being able to do so with some great degree of confidence, while still being aware of while still being aware of areas for improvement and open to other people pointing out those blind spots to me. And that's something for another episode.